So welcome to another Lincoln Live Lounge. Today we're going to be talking all about student life. So that's why I've got 4 students in front of you. So we'll start off by just going around and introducing ourselves. But please, any questions that you think of to do with student life, either while we're talking or now or anything, just post them in the chat throughout, and we'll try and answer as many as we can. So to start off, my name is Megan and I'm a postgraduate student here at the University of Lincoln. So this is my 4th year here. So I'm studying a Master's in Environment and Planetary Health. And then before that, I studied my undergraduate degree in geography here, and I come from like a little town in Lincolnshire. So I'll pass over to Kai next, if that's okay.
Hi, my name's Kai. I'm from Leeds and I am a first year zoology student.
I'll go next. My name's Ellen. I am a second year drama and theatre student from Driffield, which nobody's ever heard of, but it's in East Yorkshire. And I'll pass you to Marks.
Hi, welcome you all. My name is Marks. I'm from Latvia and I'm a final year events management student.
Excellent. So you'll probably see that in the group today, we have, a variety of people doing different courses in different years. So I think a good question to start off the conversation with would be, what made you choose to study at Lincoln? So I'll start. So one of the reasons I chose to study at Lincoln is, so I knew that I wanted to study geography when I was in 6th form, and I came to one of the offer holder day events here at Lincoln, and I walked around like the campus, and I really liked kind of like the countryside kind of feel to everything, and it was quite a nice kind of transition from like the little town that I was from, because it also had all the city kind of amenities as well as the kind of natural kind of side of things. And then as well as that, when I spoke to some of the academics for my course, they really understood the subject and liked the subject in the same way that I did. So a lot of the modules and specialisms that they did really aligned with what I wanted to do. I'll pass over to Kai, if that's okay again.
I had never heard of Lincoln until I saw an offer holder day advert or an open day advert for it. And I looked it up, I was like, oh, that looks quite nice. So I came for the open day. And the lecturers here really knew what they were talking about, but they also knew what they were talking about to the point that they made you question it and made you want to learn a lot more than the sole question that you asked. I quite liked that. And then, as Megan said, I liked that it had the countryside, but it was also a very small city. And by the time that I ended up accepting my offer, I had actually met people on UniBuddy, and I knew people from my course. I knew people from where I was going to move into and stuff. So yeah, I'll pass you on to Ellen.
So I'm a little bit different in the sense of I kind of knew that I was coming to Lincoln from kind of year 8 onwards. I'd done a air cadet camp to RAF Waddington, which is really close to Lincoln. So you see a lot of the cool planes and like the red arrows and things flying about whilst you're here. And they brought us for like a day trip to do a tour of the uni and speak to kind of some of like the academics and things. And it was kind of from that point, speaking to them, seeing the university, that I was like, yeah, I want to go to university here. Didn't know at that point what I wanted to study kind of till 6th form, when I decided on the drama and theatre. And yeah, it was just what I wanted to do. I will pass you to Marks.
Yeah, so for me, it was a big move to come from Latvia all the way to the UK, especially to Lincoln, that I've never been to before coming to uni. My reason to choose University of Lincoln was because I study events management, and for my particular degree, according to Guardian University Guide, Lincoln is in top 5. So that was a big reason for me. And also because Lincoln is a very small but very cute city with a rich history. And as for a student, it has everything I need. All the shops, all the restaurants, all the facilities, everything that I need, I have it here. And there is this very strong sense of one community. So this is the reason I chose Lincoln.
Yeah, so there's definitely lots of different reasons, and there'll be different preferences that people have for why they like Lincoln, but there's lots of different reasons. Again, if anyone has any questions, just post them in the chat at any point. I see one question that's relevant, really relevant, that we can answer. If someone's asked about, curious to learn more about the different communities you're part of. So that's kind of ties in, I suppose, with the question of like what kind of activities are you involved with kind of outside of your studies, I suppose. So if I start off with that one, so I'm currently a member of the Dance Society here at Lincoln. So there's lots of sports and societies that you can get involved with. You can join kind of competitively, or you can just do it on more of a casual basis. So that's how I tend to do dance. I do it on more of a casual basis to kind of relax. But you can do like competition. So a big competition that Lincoln compete in every year is varsity. So in the video that's playing, you can see a few clips on that. So that's where all the Lincoln kind of sports teams compete with the teams at the University of Hull. So that's a really fun week, to get to know new people and things like that. And I kind of got involved with the society from just trying out in taster sessions. I actually joined in my third year, but I actually wished I'd joined a lot sooner, because dance is something that I'd done like when I was younger as well. So it was nice to really start that again. So I definitely recommend like getting involved in anything like that. And also on the same sense of like societies and activities, I was also a member of the Geographical Society. So there's a lot of academic societies for your course, but that doesn't mean that you have to, be a part of the one that's for your course. And then I was the treasurer on the committee for that, so you can get involved with that. And yeah, basically there's lots of things to do, but I'm sure these guys can say some more about different things as well.
I'm part of the Lincoln Guides and Scouts Society. So that's for people who have either been in scouting and guiding since they were young, or whether they've just come along, seen us, and they're like, they look pretty fun. So we have like a whole range of people in there. We do all sorts. We've been kayaking, we've been climbing, we've had campfires, stuff like that. So all really fun stuff. And then I'm also, outside of the university, I'm involved in a lacrosse team, which has just started up about 7 weeks ago kind of thing. So that's quite nice. So yeah, that's what I'm part of.
I'm part of something that, for short, it's the TLC, or also known as the Lincoln Company, which is the School of Creative Arts kind of theatre company. We work with professionals, students that have already graduated, obviously the staff and students, and we get to make a variety of different pieces. So currently at the moment, we are taking a piece that we've made called The Recruit to Derby, which is a site-specific piece that is very immersive for the audience. But we're also in the background working on a piece that involves puppetry and all sorts of things. It is application-based, but it's an amazing opportunity to get involved with. It's not like you can just apply once. You can apply multiple times if you don't get it in your first year. So it's something I 100% for all creative arts students recommend getting involved with if you can. It's a great experience.
Yeah, so and I can talk about my experience being part of the business society, because my course is part of the business school. And so with the business society, we had a lot of nice social events and themed parties just to meet each other better. And that's how I can also answer Alana's question on how to make friends to be involved in a society. It doesn't matter if it's a sports society or academic society. Just being part of the society already kind of connects you with the right people, with the people you have some common interests. And that's how to make friends easier. So with the business society, obviously, we didn't only have social events and partying. We also had some more academic stuff to do. We had a lot of guest speakers talking about, for example, the importance of LinkedIn or sustainability in the modern business world. We had some entrepreneurs coming to talk to us. And it was nice to be together with like-minded people, to learn together, and to have this sense of community.
Yeah, definitely. And then following on from what you've just said, Marks, the idea that you can definitely, if you join your academic society that's relevant to your course, that's great, because you can get to meet people that aren't in your year. But you can also, like I have some friends that are part of the business society as well. And some of them don't even study business, but even if they wanted to just vary their own, specialisms and stuff, like if they wanted to start their own business but did another course, they could do that too. So another question that's probably relevant, that kind of ties into how easy did you find it to make friends? So obviously a big one with that, with university, is moving in to your accommodation. So that's probably one of the first times that I even had the chance to make friends at all, because that was the first thing that came up. So again, you'll see in the video that's playing some of our university managed accommodation. So the one that's pictured at the moment, that was 179 High Street. So I stayed in there in my first year. And I also stayed in St Mark's at one point as well. So I definitely say with that, just making sure that, when you're going in, to the kitchen and stuff, when you first move everything in, just even though it is kind of scary, just kind of push yourself out there and get into the kitchen and get talking to people. And it will just make everything a lot easier in that sense. And you've got to remember that everyone's kind of in the same boat that you are. But definitely, yeah, it's all about, I think, with making friends, just like putting yourself out there. But yeah, Kai, if you want to talk about your accommodation and that kind of experience.
Yeah, so I moved into Courts in September. To answer another question of when did you guys find out you could move into dorms, I think I put my application in about January time, and I heard back really quickly, and then I found out which court specifically I'd be moving into after results day. So that was what it was like for me. But also I found out people that I was living with on the UniBuddy app, so I knew who was going to be in my court and even in my flat after I found out which flat I was moving into before I even moved in here. So yeah, it's been really nice this year, just getting to know people. We're all from different parts of the country. We're all from different backgrounds and everything, but we all have something similar. We don't know what we're doing and we're all quite scared. But now we're really good friends, and I mean, yeah, we're all moving out, which is kind of sad, but we're still living together next year. So you meet your flat quickly and you're all scared. Just remember that. So, but no. Ellen?
So I, again, in my first year, I lived in Lincoln Court, and it was a piece of advice that my tutor at sixth form gave me was the day that I'm moving in, take something with me that I can kind of give out to my flatmates, because I was really quite shy at the time. I'm a lot more bubbly and confident now, obviously. I made however many batches of cookies in a tub and kind of just placed them on the table with a little note just saying to people to help themselves and what my name was. And that was kind of my way of introducing myself to my housemates. But the overall moving in process was really simple, really easy. We were able to pull up right at the front of the accommodation block we were moving into. There was plenty of staff and other students around to help get you kind of stuff into your flat, because obviously some of the flats do have lifts, some of them don't. It depends which ones you go with. Courts unfortunately didn't, and so there was plenty of people helping us usher stuff up the stairs, and it was just such a simple process that I thought was going to be really difficult, and it really wasn't. And everybody was so welcoming as well. It was brilliant. Marks, was it any different for you?
Yes, it was very different. So first of all, in my first year, I also lived in Lincoln Courts. And on that little video, you've seen cars loaded with stuff, people coming in, like fully moving in. I flew all the way from Latvia, and obviously on the airplane, you have luggage restrictions. So I couldn't take my cattle, I couldn't take my bedding because of the luggage restrictions. So I packed very lightly. I had a couple of suitcases in a backpack, and I was going like the street through the Lincoln Courts, seeing all these big families with cars loaded with stuff. And that's something you shouldn't be afraid of. If you're an international student and you're wondering how do you move into a new country, it's pretty straightforward. Just pack your essentials, and all the rest you can buy on the spot. For example, the beddings, like as soon as I moved into my room and put all my clothes into the closet, I went to Morrison's, which was like 10 minutes walk from Lincoln Courts, and bought my beddings and all the kitchen stuff there at a very budget-friendly price. So that shouldn't be something that you should be afraid of. It's very straightforward. And on the moving in day, there are a lot of volunteers and students and people helping you with directions, with heavy luggage. So it was a very smooth and straightforward experience.
Excellent. I also see that someone in the chat's asked, is there any ways to meet other students you'll be living with before you move in? There definitely is. I'm going to mention it a bit later as well. So we do have this thing called the UniBuddy community. There'll be a little QR code that you can scan later if you want to join that. And that's basically where you can meet people who are in similar accommodation to you, similar course, have similar interests. And you can basically get talking to people about anything that you like on there, and that's a nice way to get involved. And I think again, when I was moving into my accommodation, there was like group chats where people were posting that they were in a certain accommodation, so you get to know them through that way. Did anyone else have anything to add on that one?
I know, especially like with my course over the summer, there's going to be like some little summer sessions. I don't know if other courses will do this, but as well, that'll be a great way to meet kind of students that are on your course. So I'm helping out with the drama and theatre ones, and it's essentially just going to be little, almost like taster sessions of like what the classes are, but it'll also give them kind of familiar faces from the year groups above as well. So they have people, if they have concerns, they can also come and talk to us guys, which I think is pretty cool.
No, Unibuddy is really good because I've actually met quite a few of my friends from this year on there, and we met in about December time last year, and we've been friends throughout the year. So get yourself on Unibuddy; it is really good.
Excellent. Yeah. And then another question that I've seen that's been put in the chat is, did you do study abroad? I don't know about anyone else. I'll start off, but I didn't do study abroad, but doing geography, I kind of did, in a sense. So in my second year, I did a field class in Crete, in Greece, for a week. So for one of my modules, we went out to Crete and did like field work and did these presentations and everything like that. So there's definitely, on a lot of courses, there's opportunities to get involved in kind of international travel in that sense. But also I do know, I have some friends who, I know someone did a study abroad year in the Netherlands, and then there was someone else who did one in Canada. So it's definitely, there are lots of opportunities for study abroad. I don't know if anyone else knows any more on that one.
I did the study abroad.
Oh,
it
excellent.
was the second semester of my second year, and I went to Germany, to Munich. And although I'm studying events management, in Germany I did tourism management, which was a great opportunity for me to try something new, but also has something very closely related to my original course. And it is an adventure. It's an opportunity to see how the education system works in different countries. It's an opportunity to live for half a year in a different country, practice your language skills, try a lot of new food, make some friends from all over the globe, travel a lot, not only around Germany, but also neighboring countries like Austria and Switzerland. So yes, it was a great opportunity. I also, because of my European passport, managed to also do a little internship in Germany at the same time, which was also an opportunity for me to learn more about the way of how people are doing business in Germany and their working culture. So check with your course, dear Carlos. If you have an opportunity to do a study abroad, I would strongly recommend doing that. You would not regret it.
Excellent. Yeah. And another one, skipping down to someone put about, is there a way to get in contact with those students who are studying in your program and use their advice and experience? There's definitely ways as well. I know on, what's it called? There's a platform where you can talk to existing students. Is it Unibuddy? Where you can talk to current students already on the course and ask them any questions in that sense, so just to tie that one in. And then also, does the university help you find housing if after the first year? So if someone wanted to go into a house after your first year. So I'll go to Ellen on that one because I feel like you might have.
Yeah. So the university have got loads of, obviously I'm currently in a private house and I had a lot of help from the university finding it. They have certain accommodations that are classed as kind of student union approved. So outside the SU, you can kind of go into them, talk to them about it all. They're really helpful. There's loads of different places you can go. You're not kind of at the end of that year kind of forced to join and go into private accommodation. You can stay within the university managed accommodation after first year. It isn't restricted to once you've done your first year, kind of get out, you can stay there and stuff and that. But it is a really quite simple process. They were super helpful with it because, especially for this year, for me, the two housemates I'm currently with are in their final years of study. So I was very stressed about, I don't have anybody to live with. They were super helpful in helping me find a house, which was needing one more person. And I've made some great friends from it as well, living with different people.
Does anyone else have any housing advice they want to add on that one? No, we can move on. I also saw a question earlier on, I think it was, about like jobs in the chat. So I suppose, how do you find having part-time jobs around your studies? So I don't know if anyone wanted to kick that one off first. Maybe Kai, did you want to start that one?
Yeah, so I'm a student ambassador, and I believe we all are student ambassadors, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's quite nice because we can choose when we work, so it fits around our schedules. I'm also a brownie leader, so that is voluntary, but it's about 3 hours of my week, so that's quite easy. So for me, it works really well being a leader in guiding and also being a student ambassador. It's quite easy to fit it in, and they're both really flexible roles. I don't know if anyone else has anything to add.
I had a part-time job in my first year, so I worked at Jumping, which is a trampoline park, so obviously a very high energy job, but with kind of any student jobs I've had, as I've always just taken my timetable with me once I've kind of secured the role and said, this is where my set classes are. I'm willing to work around these, but I do still need some downtime because you've got to kind of have that, especially with study work, and kind of have that healthy balance of I need a break at times too. It's something I definitely recommend. Don't overwork yourself. But I also understand that there is students out there that do still need a job to be able to make money and things, which is completely understandable. And I think, especially from a company like that, where pretty much everybody within the work environment was either in sixth form, high, like GCSE level, or at university, including like the management and stuff. I was involved with the management for the period that I was there. It's all really like, we understand that your students will make it work. So definitely look for kind of places like that would be my advice, where they are really accepting of students.
Yeah, and me throughout my studies, I worked as a waiter in Wagamama's and in Burger King. So I did have some part-time jobs. And yes, most of your colleagues will probably be students as well. So your managers will perfectly know what does it mean to be a student, and there shouldn't be any big problems with that. I also want to talk about how, as part of my course, I was able to join a placement year where I just took one additional year, and this whole year was dedicated to me working in the industry. So I spent this placement year working for a 5-star hotel next to Ascot or Windsor, whatever you prefer. And in that 5-star hotel, I was involved in organizing events like conferences, weddings, parties, as well as I was running a Michelin star restaurant, which was a great experience for me.
Yeah, excellent. So again, yeah, so obviously student ambassador, that's a part-time job I've done since my first year. And it's really good because it's done through like campus jobs. You can work it around your studies really easily. So I've always really enjoyed doing that. And again, following on from what Mark said, I did 2 different placements as part of my undergraduate degree in geography. So in my second year, I did a placement module with an environmental consultancy firm called Delta Simons, based in Lincoln. So that was really fun, where I got to kind of go hands-on and doing field work and writing up reports in the office and things like that. And that really helped me kind of decide what I want to do kind of after university. And then also in my third year, I did another placement with the Lincoln City Council. So I did a project looking at sustainable regeneration with them. So that was kind of a bit of a contrast to what I'd done before. But again, there's lots of kind of different opportunities for work and that sort of thing in that sense. And then also, I just thought of a question following on from that might be a good one to address next, is about what our favourite places in Lincoln are. I feel like that's quite a good one to answer. Yeah, you see Ellen's face is struggling to think because there's so many. So I'll kick it off with one place that I really like in Lincoln is, I don't know if anyone's heard of the Engine Shed. So it's a big kind of music venue place we have in the city. So I've been to different events in there. I think I went to see Tim Peake when he did like a UK tour, and he did like a speech thing in there, and that was really good. And they also host loads of different music kind of events, like bands. Like I know they've had like Sigala and the Stiff Dillons and things like that. So that would probably be mine, but there are a few more I could think of. But Kai, if you can think of one.
To tie in with my course, I'd probably say along the canal, because like I've seen all sorts along there. Like there's kingfishers, herons. Apparently we have otters. So yeah, it's really nice along there. But to add to the jobs quickly, I've just remembered, if you walk around Lincoln in September time, there are a lot of places that will probably be hiring. So some of them put like little notices in their windows. So that's always a good thing to keep an eye out. But yeah, either along the canal or maybe in the castle. That's quite nice as well. Ellen?
I agree with that one. I think my kind of favourite place, I'm going to say most fun place I've visited actually, is probably the Arcade Warehouse, which is just a 10-minute walk from the university. It is a lot of fun. The clue is in the name. It is loads of different arcade games. So you've got retro, more modern PCs, different consoles from the Xbox One all the way back to the N64. It's super cheap, and I think it's £12 entry, and they have little loyalty cards that you can get. So you get to go a certain amount of times, you get to go for free. So it's super budget friendly kind of thing to go and do with friends. But again, you don't pay for any of the machines that are in there. You completely, pay for the entry, go in 2 hours of just playing arcade games, fun. Usually come out all hot and sweaty because some of them, I know my favorite game that is in there is a kind of like Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games that was on the Wii, but you have to physically run and jump and smack buttons all at the same time. It's a lot of fun, so I definitely recommend visiting that one.
I'd say my favorite place in Lincoln is the South Common. It's sort of like a park, but it's very difficult for me to say it's a park. It's more of just a field with the trees, and there are horses, and there's a little hill as well. And from that hill, you can see all of Lincoln, including the cathedral and the castle and some of the roofs of the campus. So on your day off, you can just go to the South Common and have some time in the nature, either just to go for a walk or with your friends for a picnic. And it's just a nature oasis in the heart of the city, I would say. It's a very nice place to visit.
Yeah, so hopefully that someone asked about what else can you do besides kind of the party event stuff. Hopefully that kind of answers that. There's a few different things that you can get involved in, as well as lots of events that are held for the societies and things like that. I see there's also a question on do people live in student accommodation after first year, or do students usually find external houses? So I think it depends. You can actually, if my 3 years that I was studying my undergraduate degree, I stayed in university accommodation all the way through for all three. So that is an option. So you can do that here at Lincoln. But also after first year, some people choose to get houses and stuff as well. So I don't know if anyone wants to comment on that anymore.
We've chosen.
Sorry. And so one of my best friends, he has stayed in. We lived together in Lincoln Courts. He has stayed in that same room for the whole time he has been at university. So he just reapplies, and in the little notes section, has just said, "Can I take the same room?" Because it kind of saves the hassle of having to move everything in and out. So that was very useful. They did allow that, so that is an option as well.
To anyone else?
We've moved into IQ housing. So we're in a different block of flats that I can actually see where my flat is from my bedroom. This year I can see where my flat is next year, kind of thing. So that's how we've done it. But I also know of friends who are staying in Lincoln Courts or St. Mark's next year for their second year. I think the only accommodation that doesn't allow you to stay on is Signet Wharf. So, and all other accommodations you can stay on as a second year or further.
Yeah, I think I'll join the girls saying that I lived in Lincoln Courts for the first year, and then I met some friends there, and together we moved into just a shared house. But also I know some people from my course who they continue living in Lincoln Courts throughout all these 3 years. So it's completely up to you. On the other hand, now I live a little bit up the hill, which means I need to walk up the hill every day. But on the other hand, I have a beautiful view from my window. I can see a little bit of campus and just all the way down from the hill.
Yeah, excellent. So I think we've answered a variety of questions in the session today, hopefully. So I'll start by saying thank you for everyone who did, write questions in the chat. If you do think of any other questions, you can email inquiries@lincoln.ac.uk. But also to mention again, which we've already said about, is the UniBuddy community. So you can join that, like I say, to get to know people that are kind of on your course or in similar accommodation. And just, any similar interests. It's definitely a great point of where people can just make new friends essentially before you arrive, so it makes you feel a bit more at ease in that sense. But thank you again for everyone for writing all the questions in the chat and engaging in that sense. And otherwise, I hope everyone has a lovely evening.